is wild, and that of the young Augustine was no exception. He was sent to do good rhetorical studies at Carthage, a centre of culture at the time. We have people like Cyprian and Tertullian coming out of there with great Latin. But he also acquired a girlfriend, and from that union came a Deodatus. When the child arrived, however, he started to take seriously his responsibilities as a father and gave to Deodatus a good education also. Unfortunately, he didn't live. He only lived to the age of 19, and he was brilliant. It would seem that the element of social stratum entered into it, and he couldn't really, in that situation, marry this girl he picked up at Carthage. But he was faithful to her, and it was only the grace of God that was able to sever the huge link between them and get him into a freedom which enabled him to embrace a coherent Christian life. He was influenced by Ambrose, the Archbishop of Milan. He was moved even by the chant of the psalmody in the cathedral there. Emotions are touched, and when touched can influence the will. Eventually he asked for baptism and received it from the hand of the Holy Archbishop. And he embraced a monastic life which was based on friendship and the new commandment, hence the insistence of the rule on charity. That rule which has been adopted by many families in Christian history because of the obligation after the Fourth Lateran Council in 1215 to embrace one of the four existing rules. That of Augustine, that of St. Albert, who gave the rule to the Carmelites, he was Patriarch of Jerusalem, that of St. Benedict, Patriarch of the Western monks, and the last one, that of St. Francis. The Dominicans took on that of St. Augustine, as did many nascent orders or congregations that needed a solid rule on which to build their own constitutions. He eventually was called to be Bishop of Hippo after the death of Valerian, and he had his clergy living with him, and they were often future bishops. There were bishops all over the place in North Africa. Every town had its bishop. There were good men, well formed, a good intellectual life, a good life of prayer. And hence it is that we find the likes of the Dominicans and the Premonstratensians, earlier than they actually, taking on this rule, as did many of the old Celtic settlements, even here at Duleek. They embraced the rule of St. Augustine after the Norman conquest because it was something that could be adapted to any situation, and that corresponded to the Celtic spirit, for the old Celtic monks were ready for every good work, always anchored in prayer. What is called in French la disponibilité, availability to any expression of the divine will. They embraced the divine will, and it was holy indifference then, la sainte indifférence, as to its expression. Whatever you want, Lord, I want. And they were able to do that because they had essentially this bonding with the Lord who was commanding them, and saw in the command either of providence or of the authority of the Church the expression of the divine will. One of the great doctors of the Western Church, he gave us a language, volumes and volumes of very beautiful Latin, precise, well chiseled. And it comes through even in translation. Although the perfect nature of the chiseling is only heard in the original, because it almost rhymes. The cadence is actually perfect each time. You can recognize him anywhere, Sant'Agostino. He was conquered by beauty. Late have I loved you, O beauty, so ancient and so new. Late have I loved you, for behold, you were within me, and I outside. And I sought you outside, and in my ugliness fell upon those lovely things that you have made. You were with me, and I was not with you. I was kept from you by those things, yet had they not been in you, they would not have been at all. You called and cried to me, and broke open my deafness. And you sent forth your beams, and shone upon me, and chased away my blindness. You breathed fragrance upon me, and I drew in my breath, and do now pant for you. I tasted you, and now hunger and thirst for you. You touched me, and I have burned for your peace. All the senses come in here, and we need to use the senses. We are elevated when our senses are touched, and creating beauty is collaborating with its author for his own glory and our own consolation. Liturgy is a participation in the numismatic power that made us and made us in order. Let us pray that St. Augustine will inspire from heaven creators of good thought, creators of beauty, for truth and beauty are intertwined. As Keats put it in the ode to the Grecian urn, truth is beauty, beauty truth. That is all ye know on earth, and all ye need to know. Questa festa ci colloca nella storia cristiana in cui abbiamo le nostre radici del pensiero, del linguaggio teologico, della filosofia cristiana, la logica del pensiero corretto. Però una cosa da anche mantenere in Sant'Agostino è l'influenza della bellezza. Fu toccato dal canto, la cantilena, la psalmodia nella cattedrale di Milano e vedeva lì un eco di Dio stesso. Toccava le emozioni e tramite l'emozione anche la volontà era influenzata e toccata. Sarebbe da recuperare, pregare sulla bellezza. L'armonia ci parla di Dio e creando la bellezza collaboriamo con l'autore della bellezza. È una forza, è una consolazione che abbiamo ancora in consolazione comune con gli angeli. Una cosa mai persa dall'Eden. Il peccato originale non ci ha tolto la bellezza della musica. Tardi ti ho amato, bellezza tanto antica e tanto nuova. Tardi ti ho amato, ed ecco che tu stavi dentro di me e io ero fuori e là ti cercavo. E io brutto mi avventavo sulle cose belle da te create. Ero con me ed io non ero con te. Mi tenevano lontano da te quelle creature che, se non fossero in te, neppure esisterebbero. Mi hai chiamato, hai gridato, hai infranto la mia sordità, mi hai abbagliato, mi hai folgorato e hai finalmente guarito la mia cecità. Hai alitato su di me il tuo profumo, ed io l'ho respirato, e ora anelo a te. Ti ho gustato, e ora ho fame e sete di te. Mi hai toccato, e ora ardo dal desiderio di conseguire la tua pace. Vast and glorious ponderer unseen, yet how through Christendom from age to age, could thy will have known what shapes would mean, what strength of voice it left upon the page. O hidden face untraced by any moon, we gaze upon thee through the memory of characters that hold what thinking can, pass through the veins of copied history. O wielder of the pen that moved the world, O little hand that taught the thoughts of all, teach us to feel the moving of the world, to hear the echo of a sound so small. For thou didst write, and in the height of thought didst pause to cause a tremor that would stir the heart of the traveler here caught, where waves of moving meaning yet occur. And from the grave of long antiquity, thy silent hand yet steers our wayward limbs, and there is in the sound eternity. For thou hast traced the glory